Welcome to Tea with Lily Bat. If you're a regular viewer of this channel, you may know that I've been on a filming break because I broke my camera. But I finally got a new one and I'm excited to be back with you for this video. And if you are new to this channel, a special welcome to you. Just because I haven't been making videos doesn't mean I stopped doing things around the house. And today I want to catch you up on some of the changes that I've made, as well as get a few little organizational tasks done. The day my camera broke, I was actually filming my changeover from summer to autumn in my wardrobe, and I decluttered a number of items and reorganize the space. We had a really warm autumn to start with here in Melbourne, so I didn't do the changeover until well into the season, and I haven't really changed that much since then, but I know it does need a little bit of a tidy up, so I thought I would do that today and just show you what the new setup is. One of the things that I did do was I moved my jeans out of this third drawer. I bought a few pairs of jeans last season and I was just struggling to squish them all in there, so decided to put just some sweatpants, and these are thick sweatpants that I use in the wintertime. I had these in storage, so I took them out and popped them in that third drawer. This shelf was originally used as just a temporary shelf for keeping shopping, things I was going to return, things that need to be repaired. So I just decided to repurpose it for my denim because I literally wear jeans every single day. And so far it seems to be working okay. And then because the weather has gotten so cold, I've needed to have my scarves and my hats and gloves out. And I put my summer straw hat away, and these items were originally in this container up the top here. So I do need to give that a little bit of a tidy up, and I'll probably tidy up the jeans as well, but it's been handy to have the scarves and hats here, and I've been using them constantly for taking Olive for walks, and yeah, it's just been beanie and scarf weather again here in Melbourne. And then of course I've got my bags here, that hasn't changed, that shelf. And then this shelf, I kept some bits and pieces. It's basically just a little storage box. So I've got some memorabilia in there, footy scarf, things that I don't use very often. Decided to keep my blue backpack in here as well because I do reach for that from time to time and I don't really have another spot for it. So it's sort of an all-purpose little storage box. When I took my woolen items out during my autumn changeover, I found quite a few holes in some of my most loved knits, which I was really sad about. So I decided that I needed to get something to kill some moths. I got this Enviro Safe moth trap, which I set up. It's supposed to use pheromones to attract the moths, and then it's just got this little sticky surface that sits inside. Now, I'm not sure if I've set it up right because I've seen at least one moth in the cupboard recently, and none of them have been caught on this yet. So I'm hoping this is going to work because I have bought a couple of new woolen things and I don't want them to get damaged this season. I've tried putting it in a few different places, and so far I haven't caught any. So I need a little bit more room here to get my scarves and hats in and out. I've noticed that it's a little bit cramped when I'm using it, but while I have this big storage box there, it's taking up a lot of unnecessary space. I think I'm just going to have to compromise somewhere, and that's going to be maybe with these jeans. If I reduce this down, will I still be able to get things in and out? I'm not sure. Might have to compromise on the bags and stack these rather than have them sitting upright. See if that will help, because I don't use this shelf all that often. That might work a little bit better. Let's see if I can raise this up a little bit. I liked how the bags looked before, but I think this is probably a more practical kind of arrangement. This one will just have to go like that for now, I think. Maybe these can sit side by side. Might be a bit better. Maybe this one can go tuck in this way. That's better. The other thing I did during the autumn changeover was optimize how I use my two short hanging shelves. So on the top shelf, I'm keeping my shorter jackets and some sweat tops. And I'm also keeping my main shirts that I like to wear in the wintertime. And because the overalls are too cumbersome to keep on the shelf and they keep getting crushed, I'm also hanging those up there. And down below, I'm using items that I wear really, really often during the winter time. So I've got a couple of pieces of knitwear, close-fitting, stretchy tops, a few t-shirts that I'm not wearing as often now that it's really gotten cold, but they're handy to keep out in case we have some more warm days. I've got this lovely little knit vest that I got this season, and just a couple of longer sleeve shirts. These are the tops that I wear more often during the winter, all within easy reach. And then on this side of the wardrobe, all of my coats are here together. I've got a couple of dresses, some slacks, some longer knitwear, denim skirts, and a spare bathrobe that I don't use as often. I'm hoping to do a video on the new items that I've gotten for the season, but for today I just want to show you structurally what I've done with the wardrobe. On the shelf, I've decided to keep a couple of pairs of boots that I wear really often, and over here are items that I have actually decluttered that I'm just waiting to sell. The bottom drawers haven't changed that much. I've just got some sneakers that I use for walking olive and exercise in this top shelf. My dress sneakers are the next ones. I've got a pair on today. And then down the bottom, I've removed two of the sandals. I've left my Birkenstocks because I do wear them from time to time. And I've just put these ankle boots down on the side because they actually don't fit in if I stand them up. On this side up the top, I've got my lighting gear that I've always stored up there, my summer duvet. On the other side, I've got some shoes, and I do need to go through them because there are some items in there that need to be decluttered. And down the bottom here, underneath the short hanging rack, I've got my Ugg boots, which probably do need to be replaced at some point, but for this season, I'm just going to wear these ones out. I actually decided to consolidate my little tracky sweat tops up the top there and move the overalls down here so I see them a little bit more because I keep forgetting that I have them. Might even put them at the front. The knitwear can all go together as well. Turtlenecks, which I've gotten back into in a big way. Just give this one a quick tidy as well. The last task I want to do in the bedroom today is to tidy up the knitwear drawer for all the knits that weren't destroyed by moths. I went a bit crazy with all of these cedar balls to try and help the problem. It's getting a little bit late, so I might give myself a little bit of light. I've been thinking about buying a slow cooker for many years, and finally my sister got one and I tried hers out and absolutely loved it, so I decided to get the same exact one. I ordered it online, and when it finally arrived, I unpacked it yesterday and couldn't wait to start using it. I chose a 3.7 liter, which is just under 4 quarts, because I felt I could have some leftovers, freeze some meals, but not have too much food for one person. This model has a removable pot, so I can saute ingredients to increase the flavor and also make it a bit easier to clean. I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but I actually have a cold at the moment. There are a lot of bugs flying around in Melbourne, and everyone seems to be sick with colds. So I thought it would be really good to make a chicken soup. I have been making this particular recipe for many, many years. I started making it when I was still really unwell with chronic fatigue syndrome. And I find that it's just really nourishing and it helps to boost my immune system, especially when I have a virus. It's a very simple recipe, but it's got lots of flavor and it is really enjoyable to have when I don't feel that good. You can put any vegetable you want into this soup, but I like to use celery, carrots, onions, and garlic as my base. And I also throw in any vegetables that are losing a little bit of their freshness so that they don't get wasted. Once all the ingredients are roughly chopped, I like to saute the celery and the onion in some olive oil before I add the rest of the ingredients. Once the onion and celery has softened, I add some chicken carcasses, but you can really use any chicken on the bone, such as drumsticks or even a chicken Maryland. Once the chicken bones were browned, I added the chopped garlic and let that flavor diffuse into the mixture before transferring the pot back into the slow cooker. And then I added the rest of the ingredients, including the carrots, some chicken bone broth for extra flavor. I added some chicken tenderloins, but you can really put in any pieces of chicken that you want. Some bay leaves, some apple cider vinegar to help extract nutrients from the chicken bones, and some water to fill up the pot. Because I am starting this meal quite late in the day, I've decided to use the higher setting, which will have the cooking time. Just a quick tidy up, and it's time to relax and wait for my beautiful chicken soup to be ready. 2 hours into cooking, and I'm curious to see how the soup is progressing. It smells amazing, and it does look like the ingredients are cooked through, but I'm just going to test some chicken and some carrot to be sure. Amazingly, after 2 hours, the carrot is nice and soft, and the chicken is beautifully cooked. I am actually quite hungry, so I've decided to have a serving of soup now, add some green beans, and keep cooking it. I've removed the chicken tenderloins so I can chop them up and have that lovely shredded chicken consistency in the soup. The soup was so delicious and nourishing, but I felt like it needed something a bit more substantial. So after I finished eating, I added some potatoes as well as the green beans and cooked it for another couple of hours. As much as I love the convenience of having a slow cooker and all the beautiful meals I'm going to make, it has created a little bit of a problem for me in terms of storage. I don't want to keep it out on the bench. I already have my air fryer out there and there's no room. So I'm going to have to find a place up in the cupboard. And I can only really think of one space that it can go in. I think it's going to have to go up in this cupboard at the end of the kitchen. I have some serving dishes on the top shelf of that cupboard, and I think I'm gonna have to compromise and move those elsewhere so I can make room for this one because I wanna be able to grab it whenever I need it. I think I'll use the slow cooker at least once a fortnight, if not once a week. So I wanna have it in a place that's easily accessible. Yeah, I think it's gonna go up there. It's my current configuration in the cupboard, and those are the 2 serving dishes. This shelf is the perfect width for the appliance, so unfortunately those things are going to have to be put elsewhere. I did measure it before and I'm sure it's going to fit. That seems to fit in great. It's got plenty of room. And yeah, could even put something else next to it if I needed to, just here. That's an interesting thought. I wonder if I should just put one of the serving trays up there. This is the one that I use the most often, so I think that's going to work pretty well. So just looking at this lower shelf, I keep my Itola breakfast dish here that I use almost every day. It's in the dishwasher at the moment, but this salad bowl I don't use all the time, so it'd be interesting to see if the large serving dish would go underneath that. So let's just move that over. Just to protect it a little bit, I've got this heat pad. Yeah, there's a few things missing from this cupboard, but I think everything's gonna fit in there fine. I have just the perfect place to put the manual for the slow cooker, which is the new organizational system that I created for all my appliance manuals. Since I've set it up, I've found it much easier to find the manuals that I need. It's starting to get late, but before I finish for the day, I wanted to share with you a big change that I made to the layout of my living space, which has transformed my experience of living in this apartment. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that when I moved from my 2-bedroom unit to this 1-bedroom apartment, I had to downsize and get rid of a lot of things. But I still brought quite a number of furniture pieces from my old place with me. And over time, as I've lived in this apartment, I've realized that to create a more open, fluid feel, I do need to continue to optimize my space. I had bought this little coffee table, which I thought was the right height and size for the apartment. And originally it sat in front of the sofa next to the ottoman. But recently it occurred to me that it looked too busy, and I played with the configuration until I decided to put the coffee table along the side of the sofa. And it has completely opened up the space and just made it so much more pleasant and given the whole main room a more open feel. Because I'd moved the coffee table, I need another surface that I could use for cups and books and things like that. So I decided to bring in this little table from outside that I had on the balcony. It was quite stained from being outdoors, but once I polished it, it came up beautifully. And it's so small and light that I can just move it around as I need it. And its lean profile doesn't detract from the beautiful space that I've now created in this room. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed seeing some of the little tasks I've been doing to make my life a little bit more comfortable and organized in my new apartment. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.